His concern is, of course, organ donation, as I spoke about, and he's making a difference by sharing his experiences with people all over Canada. Staff, students, everyone here from Riverside, let's put our hands together and welcome Kristopher Knowles.
Hi, my name is Kristopher Knowles, 14 years old. I've been waiting for a liver my whole life. The disease that caused me needing a liver is called Biliary Atresia. It is a common disease among infants. Most infants die shortly after birth. So far, I've been fortunate enough to still be alive. I've been in and out of the hospital most of my life. I've had over 20 operations that saved my life. I'm doing this walk to bring awareness to the shortage of organ and tissue needed. That's why I thought to myself that there was a way to save people's lives. And if I save a lot of their lives, it makes this all worthwhile. That's why I'm walking across Canada, to save the 4,000 men, women, and children that are in need of an organ. I'm trying to inspire everybody to be an organ donor. Tell your friends and family about your wishes. And if you do, you're my hero, as well as everybody else's. Please don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here. Alone, I can't do this, but together we can. Please make my wish come true. Thank you. And I'd like to thank my road team. On my right, road manager George Marcello.
I had numerous students before asking if they'd have a chance for a few questions. And of course, at this time, if you have a question, just raise your hand, and I'll advise you to ask us for that question. So raise your hands if you have any questions. That's a first for this crowd. That's all right. Oh, we do have one at the back. I missed that, sorry. Ms. Hastings, whoever it is, can speak up.
Well, I haven't got my liver yet, but I've been waiting my whole life, 14 years.
Now, I think part of the reason there weren't a lot of questions actually today is because Kristopher has a great website, and many of the teachers have this information and shared it with their students, and of course, many students took a look at it too. Kristophers Wish.ca. And if you are interested in more information or still have some questions about what Shai asked them today, I strongly encourage you to take a look at his website. It's got some great information and really does help you understand what he's been going through. And of course, for many of us, we have friends or loved ones that have been touched by some of the things that he's been going through, and it'll help us get a little better understanding of what's going on as well. In a few moments, we're going to be thanking Kristopher officially, and he's going to be heading to the front doors of our school. There's a variety of people there, including some of our dignitaries and different people from Prince Albert. We're going to be walking along with Kristopher all of the way to City Hall, where there's going to be a short program similar to what you just saw right now. And we only heard about this a couple days for the obvious reason. moving on fairly quickly throughout Canada. In a short period of time, I'd like to thank some of the students and staff, and of course our SRC, who did put together a donation, which we're going to pass on at City Hall on behalf of Riverside Community School. But that's not going to happen, Christopher. You're not going to get any of this good stuff unless you wear this good stuff, which is our school t-shirt on the walk over to City Hall. Okay, let's get one. He doesn't look bad in Riverside, Logan. What grade are you in? What grade are you in? Grade 8, you sit right in there, actually. I also want to make a special thank you to some students. As of course everybody sees on the front, we've got a group of students, some involved in SRC and some that just wanted to help out. I know there's many, many students in our school that would gladly come along for this walk, but just because of the short notice, this is what we had arranged for today. But of course, I'll just ask the students to give a little wave as we say their names. Chantal Groh is going to join us, Alicia Rood, Laura Hicks, Skylar's going to come along, Brittany Grayes, George P., and Adam McGee. So let's give those students a round of applause. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to hearing the message again with a few other different people at City Hall. At this time, I'm going to invite the Division 3s to stay seated for just a couple of minutes. And in just a moment, we're going to head out with Christopher. The Division 1s and 2s will follow. We're going to go out to the front lawn. And at that point, we're going to wish him well as we head out on our walk to City Hall. So let's give him a round of applause as he heads. Let's hear some cheers as you go back to the
No, I need to yeah, I need to
You should take a shot like this. Yeah, so you're facing that way towards the point. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I'll get your attention. You should have brought the megaphone, but I'll make it brief. Basically, we're out here as a show of support as Christopher heads out on his walk. Remember, this is symbolic. Symbol means we're demonstrating. This is not the actual walk. He's the one that has to make it all the way. And anybody who's trudged around this, he's doing this to raise awareness for a fabulous cause, just like we heard about inside. So what we're going to do as a symbol of our support, in a moment we're going to do a little countdown, and then Christopher and our symbolic walkers on behalf of Riverside are going to turn around and start heading that way towards City Hall. So our countdown will go down from 10 unless there's something else.
Garbage.
scenery. Saw a little cloud and looked a little like me.
All that with Anthony's song. Hot new Bare Naked Ladies coming up, and a host on the Saturday Night Live edition this Saturday is coming up before your dumb burglar story of the day. Well, what did you watch last night? Boy, there was so much to see. There was the grand finale of Friends. They had Friends basically on from, about 6 p.m. all the way till 10 p.m. Well, 10:30 because of Jay Leno. And they also had the Extreme Makeover, a couple of firemen in a downtown Manhattan apartment. And my goodness, then there was Survivor. Just kind of flipping back and forth from all three. Drives my wife crazy. She still can't understand how I can literally watch 4 or 5 shows at the same time. But I can. I don't know. It's just a guy thing, maybe. And from what we've been hearing on the spoiler sites, it's going to come down to Amber and Boston Rob. And as much as everyone hates Boston Rob on the jury and says they would never vote for him, you know that
Features a smooth, comfortable ride and a low monthly lease. It starts at just $205 a month.
When you get everything you want in a car and Canada's best warranty, you win. With 16-inch wheels and unibody construction, my Santa Fe rides like a car. And you can get into one for $199 a month. Saskatoon Hyundai. Win.
every Sunday from 10 to 2, this Mother's Day, treat your mom to something special at East 22nd Street Grill and Catering in the Prince Albert Golf and Curling Club. Every workday, Shannon Fox has the
How you been?
Saw your picture out here.
I knew it was alright.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta know the rest. I know. In the province of Ontario and visited close to 150 schools during that time. And we started heading out west. We completed successfully the province of Manitoba, and we're almost at the tail end of completing the beautiful province of Saskatchewan. We have 2 more stops, North Battleford and Lloydminster, but that's kind of a half and half town, right? It's, it also gives me a great pleasure to make another stop here and to see my good friend Laurent. And where did he go? Is he still there? Yeah, it was great seeing you again, right? And as we're going from community to community, we are traveling basically on students' lunch money. But we're surviving day by day. And if it wasn't for the help of people coming forward in the communities, we wouldn't have been able to get this far, and that's why I want to thank the following. I want to thank Super 8 for giving us 3 nights of accommodations. We're going to be here until Sunday in Prince Albert. Also want to thank INET 2000 for helping us out with internet. Christopher here receives hundreds of emails every day, and that's part of the work, and then we got so much other work that we have to do, so that was a very precious gift that they offered us internet while we were here in Prince Albert. Also the following restaurants. I want to thank Diggers, Amy's, Smitty's, Boston, Arby's, and Grainfields. And they're all stepping up to the plate and feeding us while we're here. And I also want to thank Ford dealership over on 2nd Avenue West. They're helping us out with an oil change, and while we were traveling on one of your highways, our windshield got hit by a rock. And they're going to help us fix that. I can't stress enough to say thank you to all these following people and individuals and groups, because without this kind of response, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have made it this far. Now, As we're moving though, there's some individuals that do a little bit more over and beyond, and we call them our angels. And our angels for Prince Albert is Jamie, the general manager from Super 8. Without any hesitation, he just said, what do you need? How many do you need? And as long as you need, you know. And so he's one of our angels. And the other angel is Trina from the mayor's office. As soon as I contacted Trina, she just went right to work. Like she just got so excited and pumped up. And actually, she was the one that helped organize all the activities for today. So on our website, you'll see them marked down as our 2 special angels for Prince Albert. Without any further ado, I'm going to announce our first guest speaker, your mayor.
Kristopher, like first off, welcome Kristopher to Prince Albert. We're happy that you made this one of your stops. And the stories we just heard about the kindness and generosity of Kristopher to Prince Albert, we're happy that you made this one of your stops. And the stories we just heard about the kindness and generosity of Prince Albert is not new to us here. This town is a friendly town, a very generous town, and we welcome people in a big way. And we're delighted to have you here. And I hope your stay here is very good. Today came from giving awards at the Sportsman Annual Award Dinner to the Sportsman of the Year and Athlete of the Year, and that's a big honor. It was an honor for me to be able to present those to Dave Manson, who we all know, and Kelly Gar, who's PA youth that plays with the Kelowna Rockets. But this is even greater. You get someone like Kristopher here, who's gone out on an adventure to raise awareness for organ donation, taking the time in his life and go out and do this walk. I mean, he's not doing it for himself, he's doing it for everyone that needs organs, and he's out there raising awareness. And I think we need to learn by what he's doing here. If he can take on what he's doing, I think we need to learn here that Canada is much lower than the States when it comes to organ donations. And we know we get those things on the driver's license, and I think we've got to start signing them, because it's tragic if someone loses their life, but if that can help another one live, you know, they say there's a silver lining on every cloud. So it certainly got me thinking about it. And when a young person like this takes something like this on, it's incredible. I admire your courage and your strength to do something like this. And in the meantime, he himself is fighting, hoping to get a liver soon so that he can continue to live. And come out with all these obstacles on you and perform like he is, it just shows the courage of that young man. And you have my admiration, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone here. You have our admiration, and I wish you well in the near future. I hope that your liver comes through soon so that you can continue on with life. And I feel good. I believe it's going to happen. It's a day-by-day wait, and I have a family member, a cousin that went through the same thing some years ago, and I know what it's like on the family and the individual, and things work out for him, and that's really well for you too, Kristopher. So again, good luck, and we'll be watching you. You've got your website, we'll be keeping an eye on how your progress goes, and we'll be there with you with our prayers and our thoughts. We'll be there with you. So again, welcome. And next I'd like to say Trina, I think she has a little something here. Or Joe, I'm sorry, I think Joe has a presentation for us. And this is from the staff at City Hall. So Joe, if you want to come forward for the presentation.
Thanks, Mayor Stiglitz. Kristopher, my presentation is to you on behalf of the administration staff through the City of Prince Albert. Through our Dress Down for Charity donations, the staff that participates in this contributes on each pay period a few dollars to go towards very worthy causes like your own. And so it is with our pleasure a donation pleased to give you a donation of $200 towards your very worthy cause.
To add that, today I'll be making a little personal donation, and with that I'm going to put a challenge up to my fellow councillors to do the same. I think we have a good cause here. If this guy can put in what he's doing, I'm sure we can help a little bit here, but that'll be a challenge, and I hope we follow through. I also have a couple other things here for Kristopher. First thing is, we have we have the certificate of special recognition. The City of Prince Albert. The City of Prince Albert, in recognition of his outstanding contributions to organ and tissue donation awareness throughout Canada, presents this certificate to Kristopher Knowles, signed by myself, and this would like to thank you. And we also have our, I don't know if you knew this, it's our 100th anniversary in Prince Albert here. We're 100 years old this year. 1904 to 2004. We have a shirt for you and a centennial pin. I hope you wear a long way. Thank you, Kristopher.
Thank you very much, Mayor. During my walk across Canada, I made a stop in Sarnia, and this was in 4 years ago, year 2000, July 2000. And as I entered Sarnia, I met this 10-year-old boy that had this big smile on his face. And he wanted to carry the torch that he carried today across his city. And he carried it through his city with a smile on his face, all the way through. And there was no indication whatsoever that anything was wrong with this young boy. At the end of the day, he lifted up his shirt and showed me all the scars on his stomach, and told me that he was on the waiting list for almost his whole life, waiting for a liver transplant, a liver donation. And he said this with a big smile on his face. As I was completing my campaign 2 years later, I made a final stop in Sarnia, and again, Kristopher was there. Again, he had this big smile on his face. There was every indication to believe that he had received his liver, because he was so cheerful. And sadly, again, he told me that he was still on the waiting list. But he expressed a wish to me. His wish was to carry the torch across Canada. And at the time that he told me, I thought, this isn't possible. Because he's on the waiting list. You know, he's got a serious, deadly disease. And how can we possibly arrange this? I have never met a more persistent human being in my life, because he was emailing me every day, and he was determined as heck to do this walk. And after finding support from his family, that they were behind it, his doctors, his school, practically the whole community, because they knew what kind of character he had, I agreed to be his road manager. And on January the 8th, we began his campaign called Kristophers Wish. And Kristophers Wish is, he wants to save nearly 4,000 Canadians on the waiting list. That's not an easy task. He's trying to inspire every Canadian to become an organ donor, and he's doing that. But what still needs to be done is we need our government to hear this loud and clear, that this issue has to be the most important, because there's a potential to save all 4,000 people. But they have to acknowledge that this issue has to be the most important one on the agenda. And that's what Kristopher, he's pleading right now with the Prime Minister and all the candidates that are going to be running for the top job to make this a hot issue. And he gets his way. He gets his way. So he's determined to save all 4,000 Canadians, and that's got to be a good reason to support him. Please welcome Kristopher Knowles.
First, I'd like to thank my road team. On my right, road manager George Marcello. At the back, wearing the orange, documentary person, film director, making a movie on me, Merle Roberts. Back beside that building, my dad/driver, Kelly Knowles. Hi, my name is Kristopher Knowles. I'm 14 years old. I've been waiting for a liver my whole life. The disease that caused me needing a liver is called Biliary Atresia. It is a common disease among infants. Most infants die shortly after birth. So far, I've been fortunate enough to still be alive. I've been in and out of the hospital most of my life. I've had over 20 operations that saved my life. I'm doing this walk to bring awareness to the shortage of organ and tissue needed. That's why I thought to myself that there is a way to save people's lives. And if I save a lot of lives, it makes us all worthwhile. That's why I'm walking across Canada, to save the 4,000. And if I save a lot of lives, it makes us all worthwhile. That's why I'm walking across Canada, to save the 4,000 men, women, and children that are in need of an organ. Trying to inspire everybody to be an organ donor. Tell your friends and family about your wishes. And if you do, you're my hero, as well as everybody else's. Please don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here. Alone, I can't do this, but together we can. Please make my wish come true. Thank you.
And before we get to the question and answers, I forgot to acknowledge the great police escort by Prince Albert's finest. Thank you very much, Officer Kent. I can't pronounce your name. Thank you very much. And now, if there's any question and answers from the students or the media or anybody in the audience here concerning the walk, we have a question?
What can we do on an individual basis to help with the wish? You talked about politicians and regulations that are in place. Any advice?
Good question. Okay. Actually, first of all, what we strongly encourage is every individual to think about becoming an organ donor. Pick up a donor card and share the wish with the family. But just as important, we're urging every Canadian to contact their local MP, their local provincial representative, to make this issue a priority, because we do have the potential to save all 4,000 people. We're not doing everything to address that. And there's 3 areas that we have shortcomings in. We need to revolutionize our present system. That's been a very big shortcoming. Presently, under family consent, many times the family are unable to say yes because they're asked at a very sensitive time during the donation, and they can't bring themselves to say yes, and they say no only for later to have a lot of regret. And it's not their fault. It's the system's fault for having to have them make that decision at the worst time possible. Also, we need more retrieval centers across Canada. There's folks that are passing away in remote parts of the country. It's impossible to retrieve their organs. Thirdly, we're operating and getting donations under the assumption that organs are only available after brain dead. European countries have been practicing heart dead transplants for many years, very successfully. So if we address all those 3 areas, we have the potential to save all 4,000 organs. That's how many organs are going to waste. Almost every other day there's a person on the waiting list that's passing away. Every day there's 2 organs that are getting wasted at least. So you can do the arithmetic. We have the potential to save everybody. Absolutely. The whole concept behind Kristophers Wish was to plant the seeds early. because the students are going to be our future. If we can generate a generation of people that are very educated and aware of organ donations, we won't have the problems that we're having today. So we're urging the students to talk about this with their friends. Make this campaign as almost as you would like to watch The Simpsons or something. You know, make this an important thing in your life, and you know, the students are going to make the difference.
George, we were talking outside earlier about the success rate for transplants. I don't think the people realize how successful they are becoming, and that kind of message, maybe they figure there's so many failures, why even do it? If you could maybe enlighten us on that.
Yeah, good question. About 30 years ago, transplants were first becoming known, and I think people remember the first heart transplant in South Africa, and the person survived for about a couple of months. And, you know, they did other transplants, kidneys and other organs, and there was relatively a short lifespan afterwards. So I think during that time we were in experimentation stages. About 15 years ago, and this is to the hard work of research teams, especially here in Canada, because they lead the world in a lot of medical advances. New drugs were researched, anti-rejection drugs were researched, and operational procedures were performed to a science. And 15 years ago, transplants became a cure. We have a 95% success rate right now. When somebody receives a transplant, they not only get their life back, they get an active and healthy life back. And that's in 95% of the cases. So we have a cure in our hands. We don't need to research to find the cure. It's here. And this is why we're urging the public, the media, and the 3 levels of government to make this the most important issue. Because if we do that, we can save all 4,000 people, and that's got to be worth it. Kristophers could do some one-on-ones after, and with the media or anybody else that wishes to talk. And he has some posters here that he'll sign. And I really want to thank the City of Prince Albert for giving us a great reception here. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for attending.